January 6th investigation continues in the court and in our House of Representatives and all around. But one of the phrases which comes out pretty large is the January 6th panel calling President Trump clear and present danger. And it is describing the threat posed by President Trump and his followers regarding our democracy and freedoms. We have a professor of American Studies and History, Scott Gack, with us. Welcome to Muslim Network TV.
Thank you.
So do you agree that Trump is the present, clear and present danger? There is a film on that title also.
Yes, there is a film on that title. It's actually a phrase from a Supreme Court decision that demarcates, right, the kind of boundaries of what some dangerous thing would be, a clear and present danger to the country. I just want to start before we head into the clear and present danger, just to say that Trump is not the first president to be called before a congressional committee. If going back in time, we have Nixon, we have Truman, then we have to go back a little further to Tyler and John Quincy Adams. Truman and Nixon did not comply with the requests. Quincy Adams and Tyler did. The idea of whether or not I agree of a clear and present danger is, obviously a little complicated. One, is he a clear and present danger in his current position as not being holding any office that we know of at this present time? And it's an interesting question. Is he a clear and present danger in office? That's a different question that the January 6th committee obviously has undertaken and has left us a kind of clear path to, I think, coming to a conclusion that yes, someone who operates kind of in a freewheeling manner with foreign leaders, someone who doesn't seem to uphold the Constitution first and the legal code first, thinks about ways in which he can fulfill his own personal wants and desires through the office. That seems to bend right towards a clear and present danger.
Share with us, anytime President Trump speaks up, social media on his side get fired up with the talk of civil war. So you being a historian and American professor of American studies, has the talk of civil war has been this loud in recent past?
Recent past, I think you would have to go back to a time I think that Trump often thinks back to, the late 60s and early 70s, to think of a moment in which the political divides are so stark and in many ways so violent, where rhetoric, even political rhetoric, can lead to people getting physically assaulted and hurt. I think that would be the most recent past. Obviously, there's a longer history that goes back to a civil war. And if you look at both of those, these time periods, or all three of these time periods, right, from the 1850s through to the 1960s through to today, you see this kind of increase in righteousness on each side. And so people become less willing to reach across divisions and listen to one another. They become more confident that what they believe is the absolute truth. And it becomes very difficult to have meaningful conversations and to move things forward in a positive way.
No, but it is not between just Democrats and Republicans. President Trump recently tweeted, well, he's not on Twitter, is he? That Mitch McConnell has death wish.
Right, and that seems to be right. That those seem to be his means and ways to try and retain his hold, his grip on the Republican Party. I mean, obviously, the January 6th committee has spelled the death of a political career for a long time standing Republican, right, Liz Cheney. who is, basically lost. She's lost her office. We don't really know what the future holds in terms of her political career, but for the time being, right, it's over as a result of standing up to President Trump's version of of the events. Rather, I don't want to use the word truth, because that can get a little muddy there, right? President Trump and truth, I don't know how well they mix.
So Mitch McConnell, does he need to worry? Should he need to get extra security around his house and where he travels? I mean, his wife has been attacked in the past as well. I mean, the clear and present danger to democracy, but here we're talking about people.
Yeah, and we are talking about people, and there are obviously a variety of people who are involved in these cases, whether whether they be the committee members that we just mentioned, whether it be Mitch McConnell who's being singled out, whether it be the judges who have been ruling in a variety of cases. In all of these instances, all of those persons, I would suspect that they have had serious conversations about personal security, and have made decisions one way or the other based on we only have a small window into what may be going on. But certainly being called out by President Trump does not tend to lead to good outcomes for the people who are named.
Now, CNN today has a video. I don't know whether they loaded it yesterday or this morning. It identified a former FBI agent who was convicted of unlawful entry to the Capitol on January 6th. And he's responding to a tweet of someone, quote unquote, lock and load on Twitter, and sort of, again, inferring to civil war and things like that. Do you think our law enforcement is doing enough to ensure that the people who are former military or current military and things of this nature, if election results are not accepted on an election night, some polling booth, firing starts suddenly because tension is already there? Do you think we as a society are ready for the law enforcement on the election night?
That's an excellent question, and there have been investigations into the U.S. military, and January 6th there have been investigations into National Guard and local police forces. There have been a significant number of law enforcement officers, both national forces and state-based forces, who have individuals who had participated in January 6th. And yeah, of course, that's extraordinarily disturbing. And I do think at this moment that there is a good focus. Again, I don't know how much we've actually seen in terms of outcome. We're only still just, I think, starting to watch these cases proceed through the court system, as they should, right? The courts should be operating here, and people should be getting arrested as we proceed constitutionally. Are we ready? Goodness, we are going to find out. I don't know that people are necessarily scared enough, because I don't know that we don't have a clear picture yet that Trump is going to run, and I think that's a big factor in how scared we should be.
Professor Gag, is Trump the only threat to our democracy and freedom?
There's a kind of a fine line with democracy, right? It's about empowering people, and there's a long history, particularly of white empowered citizens in the United States, taking the law in a variety of ways into their own hands, whether that be to disagree with national government in particular. You could go back to several instances of militias battling out with the national government in the United States in the last 10 years, such as the takeover of the Malheur Refuge out on the West Coast. So there's always, again, this really fine line between empowering people politically, channeling that through a representative government and voting, and watching that sometimes turn to violence, where people's right to have guns and to use them, is protected, and they will apparently use them.
The last question I'll have with you, considering you are a historian as well as professor of American politics, American studies, Republicans and Democrats, considering these are the two polars, do you think their tension will encourage more people to declare themselves moderates?
I think there are a lot of people really searching for moderate voices at this time. I think there is a feeling that on the left, that moderate candidates cannot get through the Democratic primaries, and that only the most radical come out of the Democratic primaries, and on the right, it seems that only people who disavow results of an election can get through the process. So is that enough, right, to bring moderate voices, or even a third party? It seems like if now's not the time, then when would be?
Well, thank you so much, Professor Scott Gag, for your time.
Thank you.